right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans Selection Committee meeting. It is Thursday, May 14th at 9:15 a.m. I will call the roll. Nick Harris,
Here.
Julian Meyer,
Here.
Jeffrey Benjamin,
Here.
Raymond Brown, Elizabeth Duet,
Here.
Mark Healy,
Here.
Rochelle Roche, Sandra Lindquist, Edward Smith, Kelly Matthews. Okay, we do have a quorum. And for the committee to proceed with the meeting, we would need a nomination for a chair and a vice chair. Nomination and approval.
Anybody want to be the chair?
I don't mind serving as chair if no one else is into it.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
I think typically there's a motion and a approval. I'm not on the committee, so
Okay. Motion to nominate Rochelle Roche.
Second.
okay. All
Yeah,
all approved, or
yeah.
all in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Okay. And then vice chair?
I'll be happy to serve as vice chair.
I nominate
Jeff Benjamin.
Jeff as the vice chair.
Second.
Motion to approve.
What's the, aye.
Okay, all in favor, yes. Okay.
Congratulations.
Any opposed? Okay, and then I'll let the committee take over the discussion. The agenda has the names of all of those who have applied to fill our Consumer Community Advocate seat on the Board of Directors. And Madam Chair, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. We'll begin the discussion. Everyone has their packets. I would like to begin the discussion with an overview of the board composition and the candidate requirements, just so we're level set. I know everyone's had a chance to go through their packet, but just for the record, I'd like to level set there. The board is to be composed of 11 members. The mayor, 2 syndicated members of the Board of Liquidation, City Debt, 8 members appointed by the mayor upon the advice and consent of the City Council from a list of nominees submitted by the Sewage and Water Board Selection Committee, and that's where we come in. Candidate requirements. Potential candidates shall reflect the racial and gender diversity of the City of New Orleans to the extent practicable, be a registered voter in Orleans Parish, have been domiciled in Orleans Parish for at least 2 years prior to their appointment to the board. And I do have a question of the Chief of Staff. This current packet, have all of those elements been vetted for, or is that part of our responsibility here today?
There is an application
Great.
that each applicant fills out. There's also a notarized affidavit that must be submitted to confirm that what
Great.
they're.
I did notice that. I just wanted to ask if that had been validated by the registrar of voters and.
Staff did not do that, and then for this particular seat, we did not check residency per district since this is a citywide, a parish-wide seat.
Okay, but we're confident that they are registered voters and they've lived in one of these districts for at least 2 years. We vetted that piece. Or is the notarized portion, if we find that someone does not meet those requirements, what action do we take if we haven't vetted them already? That's a,
Yes, the application and the notarized document saying that their application is accurate is the proof that we have. That's the verification that we have, that they meet the requirements set forth in the statute.
And if we found out that they were not meeting one of those requirements, we would remove them from consideration.
exactly, that's what, I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure, I wanted to ferret that out, just to make sure it's on the record that that is the case, since we haven't actually
Yes.
vetted. Okay, thank you.
That is interesting, though, because I thought that your staff validated all of that stuff, so we're basically relying on their affidavit.
Yeah, the notarized affidavit, yeah.
Yes.
And they notarized, so that's basically duly sworn that they are telling the truth.
Yes.
Okay.
So now that we've got that question answered, and we understand that each applicant has attested that they meet the requirements.
Yes,
Yes.
We'll go further.
yes.
And if that is not the case, then that's another action later on. So we're all under that assumption that, that all the requirements have been met. The next section talks about pertinent disciplines for us to consider. Architecture, environmental quality, finance, accounting, business administration, engineering, law, public health, urban planning, facilities management, public administration, science, construction, water management, community consumer advocacy, and that's the key role, that's the key competency that we're looking at today, and other pertinent disciplines.
And one thing I've always been confused about is because we don't know what the makeup is of the current board, like how many lawyers there are, architects. and
That
stuff.
is
So
the question that I had as well.
You usually tell us when there's, like, we've asked before about how many lawyers when we're looking at the amount of lawyers and stuff, so I think y'all know that makeup, right?
Yes,
I thought it was 2 the last time.
engineer, 2 attorneys, 1 with healthcare, financial planning background, human resources background, strategic planning, urban planning background, and education.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great to know. Thank you for the question. So we won't go through the bylaws for the committee, but we will just go right into, now that we've talked about the competencies that are required for this role, and generally speaking, the competencies that the board already maintains, we'll go right into the resumes. My vice chair, who's so aptly prepared, can we tag team just each applicant, introducing the applicant? And I'm sure everyone has gone through them, and we'll let that start the discussion.
Yeah, sure. I went out of order because I've kind of sorted them based on who I thought was gonna be the.
There's the
That's
order.
okay. We've got a
There's a
list.
list, there's a
No.
list, okay.
Well,
Like I messed up my whole,
Yeah, I did too. I don't have anything in order, so.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Dariensburg.
Yeah, Alexandra Dariensburg.
Well, that's another attorney.
Yeah, I had the same thought.
That in this pile over here. Not that that's not what we need, but we do have 2 already on the board.
I had the exact same thought on that one.
Oh, no, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm,
And nothing against attorneys either, but I'm looking for diversity of thought on the board there.
So I absolutely understand that piece, because I thought the exact same thing. But in my opinion, the attorney piece, to me, that means, okay, we've got a critical thinker on our hands. But if the attorney has done quite a bit of advocacy, then I think that's probably should get, to me, being an attorney means they have certain competencies, but absolutely, that is up for discussion, because it looks like there is quite a bit of advocacy here. But
I just felt like
your
there was
point is
more
well
people-
taken.
There were a lot of people with advocacy, so it's kind of just moving things around into buckets.
Nope, absolutely.
I will speak up on her behalf because of I've kind of looked at like what I consider like the tier one applications and kind of broke them down into groupings based on what I thought experience and background most relevant to this. And I will say, I think hers was, not that I have any bias against attorneys, for the record, but I do feel like she brings some different advocacy perspective. You know, her practice has largely been in public defender's office. She's been an advocate based practice. So while she might have a lawyer background, it's been in that advocacy role. So I think that was,
And
yeah. So I would just put that out there as we go through the list. So second up was Danielle Marie Dew. I'm not really sure how that name is pronounced, but
Dewey,
Dewey?
do.
Yeah.
Did we evaluate
We
her
sent
previously?
her forward last time.
Yeah.
Was it for the advocacy role or was it for
No.
one of the
For one of the
district
districts.
seats?
But what I liked about her is that she has a lot of, first of all, she's a landscape architect, and she has stormwater management experience, which I thought would be useful to the board there. And a lot of project management experience.
Yeah.
I'll just note one thing for the committee. I think during the last meeting, an issue that was raised was her role as a principal in a local firm, and that is no longer the case.
Yeah, she worked with
More.
Dana
Yes.
Brown, and, but she no longer works with Dana.
Correct.
Yeah. Dana was very involved in the stormwater management here in the city of New Orleans and did a lot of the architectural design and urban planning and that she worked for. Dana still works for the contract with the city, but she doesn't work with them any longer.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So I would recommend her to go to the yes or maybe pile.
she was in my yes pile, so.
Next up was Jasmine Fournier.
Jasmine also has water experience in, I always call it living with water, especially in the city of New Orleans. And going through her information, I think that that type of experience and knowledge about the city and the challenges in which we have and her background, her experience. I've already put these kind of in order. I read through them over the weekend, and we go from there. So I kind of like her background.
I had the same thoughts on her experience.
absolutely, same
And she's also a graduate of UPenn. It's very
distinguished.
distinguished, yeah.
I do also appreciate when candidates add a supporting letter explaining a little bit more of their background, just to highlight what they have done. And obviously, in her experience, her work with community volunteer work has been critical. So I support as well as that's a part of my yes pile.
Yes.
It helped to
Yes,
connect the
file
dots in her background for me too.
Next up, Matthew Fraser.
Just as a disclosure to the meeting, to the committee, I worked in the law department of the city before, so I've worked with Matthew before.
What's your opinion of him?
A very dedicated lawyer for the cause, and his also experience was critical because he worked for the city council as well. So he had that perspective, not just as a lawyer, but as serving the citizen of the city. So
And it looked like his background was like a insurance attorney. So who was he advocating for? Like, was it for the community or for the individuals or?
Yeah, it seems as though he was his clients were individuals who he was working in their, advocating on their behalf.
My disclosure was not to say that I necessarily support his application, but just so that everybody knows that I worked with him before. But he's always been a voice in the city attorney about the cause for the city and representing. So while he may represent private entity insurers right now, he has always had been this voice and continue to be. So just wanted to.
Wasn't afraid to mince words in his letter about what he hopes to change about things. That was interesting.
Advocating already.
Right. Not afraid to express his feelings. So any idea, like, which,
I think you had a stack, you were saying you had another stack where you had attorneys that you advise.
yeah,
Yeah, let's kind of put that over
attorney
there.
pile?
Yeah,
We could take him out of the attorney pile if we decide later, but
yeah.
Eric Gudzinski
so we sent him forward last time.
for the district, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. If I remember right.
Where I think he has a lot of technical knowledge. I'm not sure that he really fits on the advocacy side. So for what we were doing for the district,
I just
he
say
was
not-
a number one, two
Yeah,
or
he's highly,
three.
yeah, we thought highly of
Yeah.
him for the district position,
Yes.
but I think this is a more specialized role. that
Absolutely.
He doesn't necessarily have that background in, so I didn't have him on my move forward pile.
Right.
He was in my no pile also.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, agreed.
All right. Matthew Hill is next.
So I feel like I was missing page.
Yeah,
Did we miss the resume, or is it
Yeah.
the same package?
He
or
didn't
is
have a
it-
resume, it was just,
just kind of priorities, and
Which I'm fine with.
but I'd like to know more about his background before I could recommend him for. It is.
I do look at, how long they've been at certain jobs and
yeah.
commitment to those positions and,
and what his work experience is, his education.
right.
I didn't consider him because of that.
Yeah.
I have a question to the chief of staff. All the members of this committee, not this committee, the other committee that we're selecting a person, how many districts are they how many do they represent, how many districts are represented? I know they're doing it citywide, but once again, it's only how many people is on this advocacy?
Two.
Two.
There's-
So they really act like councilmen at large, in a way. They represent the entire city.
That's a great way to think of it, yes. And it
Okay.
mirrors the same makeup.
Yeah.
There's one person on the board for each district.
Yeah.
And then there's two consumer community advocates that are supposed to represent
Question,
interests parish-wide.
do they have a staff? What staff support would they have, do they have with Sewage and Water Board?
They have a board relations department, but any citizen member who serves on the board of directors is a volunteer.
Yeah,
But
Okay.
there's administrative support through utility staff.
okay. All right.
They're on their own.
Huh?
They're on their own.
Yeah.
Their own
I just want to find out how the voices of the community are heard through them, and how would they know exactly what, where they receive the information from? How often do they go out in the community? Where are they, who are the advocates? Where are they getting their information from? How is that done? how is my voice heard through them?
I think that would be a question for those directors, but to my knowledge, they are out in the community, attending community meetings, hearing from people in their circles. If, if there's a suggestion that there be a more formal process for them to hear information, we're certainly open to hearing feedback on that after the meeting.
I think it's something, it may not be for this meeting, but something that we need to discuss to find out exactly. That's where the complaints come in from residents. You know, are we listening to what their concerns are? And who are they to report this to? Who they have discussions to? Are they being heard? And so I do have a very concerned interest in that.
Okay.
Okay, rather than calling 311. And you know, I think it's something that needs to be discussed, either added to some of their responsibilities, or whomever provide them with information so they can know. It's some parts that I believe missing,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Mention regarding Matthew Michael Hill. And I think we put him in a category, but one of the requirements was a resume or CV, and that we don't have, so I think we're not going to be able to consider him at all.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, thank you for checking that.
Next candidate is Carmen Jones. Carmen. Resume before too.
I remember Carmen Jones, but maybe in the beginning. I guess I'll put her in.
Put her in the maybe pile because of
Yeah.
her healthcare background, which I thought was unusual, and you can be an advocate for all the health issues associated with the sewage and water board systems, but I also don't think she has a lot of leadership experience. And I think you said we already have somebody with healthcare, a healthcare professional on the board.
Yeah, I had her kind of on the maybe not list.
She does have some community engagement, but she was not in my,
Yeah, I don't think it was as strong as some of the other candidates.
yeah.
And when you look at the community engagement piece, it's limited.
And and also it's her job. So also look
Right.
at whether it's your job to be community or you've done other things outside of your job to be a community advocate.
Okay.
I would actually, I would say that might be this one might be in the no category instead
I had
of
her
maybe.
in the know, so
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not, yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, Michael May is up next.
So for him, again, there just isn't, there's technical, but I don't see any real community advocacy from him.
Correct, yeah,
Leadership
agreed.
experience, he's a sales engineer. I put him in my no pile.
Yeah.
Well, we've got areas of experience circled. It's not reinforced by what we're seeing in the resume and supporting documents.
Like, I'm not sure I'm really worried about them being an engineer,
Right,
per se. I'm more
What are
worried
they
about
doing
what
on
they've
their
done in the
spare time?
community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. Because we've circled community advocacy, but I don't see it.
Yeah, you know, one thing about the candidates' requirements, when you look at these three bullet points, it really doesn't ask for a whole lot, okay? Other than diversity, shall be a registered voter, domiciled in the city of New Orleans, Orleans Parish for 2 years, and to go from there. So I think it's something for the next time that we're looking to nominate a person that these requirements maybe entail a lot, because otherwise everyone would be applying for it, okay?
Well, I do think we mentioned the pertinent disciplines, and
I don't know what the candidates, when they applied for it, what was on the application, you know, for them, was it?
The position is community advocate.
Yeah.
So in general, when we get these applications, most of them have the community advocacy piece when you're
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah,
So it hasn't been, to me, it hasn't been an issue not to find the person that has the community advocacy piece. But that's
yeah, I'm just
not so
looking
much
at
the
this
case
person
this
like
time. There's a lot
Michael.
more technical for this one than
Well, but the thing, that,
the past.
for me, that's why I would think part of the requirement should have a cover letter or some, because
Hey.
your resume tell a story,
Yeah,
but if you want to tell yours, you may want to put in writing how to explain where you land.
sure you
yeah,
tailor your
exactly.
resume
That's
for
what I'm
the
saying,
position. Yeah,
because
resume to be
depending
a
on what
community
they
advocacy.
received and then what we're receiving, you know, it just doesn't go into detail, okay?
Yeah, I do a lot of hirings and I get a lot of that just in my day-to-day thing where they submit like a stock resume
Yeah,
position and it doesn't really tie into the things. we're looking
Exactly.
for. They're clearly experienced, they clearly have background, but it's not really tailored to the position I'm necessarily hiring for, and I think that's the case here, so.
yeah, yeah, that's what I see with his information. Yeah.
Okay. I think this is Kadisha Neuralic.
That's really good. That's what I would have come up with.
Okay.
So she is young, which is potentially a pro, I think. Urban, background, urban studies, but we already have a urban planner on the board.
And we've got a strategist as well on the board, from what I understand, 'cause it looks like she's got some experience in strategy.
I had her in my no pile, but
Yeah, I had her like kind of in a maybe pile. My question here, I mean, so maybe we do need somebody young.
that's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I don't know the age makeup, and I don't want to really make a decision on age, but this person might bring different perspectives. So that's part of the maybe, but then my question was, can you work for the city of Gretna? I mean, I guess you live here, you live in Orleans Parish. I just didn't know if that was a conflict, but, you know, she's learning a lot about what Gretna is doing, and Gretna's been doing some good things, so.
Oh. I didn't see that part.
I don't think it's not I don't think it's a conflict of interest necessarily, but
I don't think it's a conflict of interest, but is it an interest for New Orleans?
she lives in New Orleans.
But she works for the city of Gretna, you know? So,
She's a customer of the Sewage and Water Board.
Yes.
well,
Maybe she can learn some things from Gretna and bring them to Orleans Parish. I don't know.
Perspective, yes.
Perspectives, different.
yeah,
She's not a total no for me, but
yeah.
I have lots of no's.
So put her in the maybe pile?
Maybe. Yep.
I had maybe next to her. It was a check maybe. So that's it? We've been through them all?
No, we've got a couple more. We got Christian Ryan next.
In front of me, so he must have been on a no.
So her background is in sustainability. She has a lot of
And
experience.
education, some education.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't pick her.
She has a PhD in education.
At the PhD?
EDD, I think, but
Yeah.
in my opinion, I like EDDs because it's the practical application of education at varying levels, not, you know, including how adults learn in different contexts. Is, you know, and so that could be helpful in advocacy.
Also from a communication standpoint too. The education side. if you're an educator, then maybe you communicate a little bit better than,
And you're assessing your audience, you're thinking about how they're gonna receive the information and the back and forth, absolutely. Because a lot of this advocacy piece is going to be communicating what the constituents want to the board and actually getting that information back to the constituents. So I think education's a really good background to have, at least that EDD.
Yeah, I had her in my yes pile.
I also like that she has the wildlife conservation side of things.
Wildlife, Greater New Orleans, so she's, been plugged in with a lot of the major.
Well, she spent most of her time in Kentucky and Nashville and those other places, and things look like she's only been in New Orleans probably since 2020, somewhere around there. So I don't know
Different perspectives.
around the area. So
Yeah.
And I like that she's in the space, that perspective will put her in a position to respectfully challenge
Yeah,
doing things just because we've always done them that way, just like you did with like questioning like the process of how, board members are getting communication. I like that element.
I mean, I will say, speaking
Strategic
personally,
right.
as somebody who's moved here within the last 2 years, but I've worked for different municipality water departments. I have my thoughts about sewage and water board and how they operate and do things, and I think it brings some perspective that, hey, there's other ways to maybe, get things done and that kind of thing in terms of not just technically, but, how the business operations and the customer outreach and all that kind of thing goes. That I think could.
does this group, question, does this position also make any recommendations to the board, Sewage and Water Board members? Yeah, not this group, but the person that we're interviewing, we're looking for a candidate. How do they make recommendations to how are they getting the information back to the board?
This is a board seat. They're on the board.
Yeah, but how are do they collect? I'm missing something.
What's the governance structure with the
Yeah.
board over with the sewage and water board, the
The,
operations?
the board of directors is the governing body of the sewage and water board, the utility.
And so I guess we're wondering, what's the process or the protocol for a consumer to get information for one of these people to advocate or to make a decision or to make a suggestion on their behalf? Or is it initiative? Like if I'm the advocate, I'm going out and soliciting information. I guess we're trying to figure out how all of this comes back to the body, the board as a whole.
The board meets regularly, monthly. There's committee meetings, and the board of directors individually comes together and is bringing their experiences or feedback they hear in the community to the full board on a regular basis.
So would you say they kind of have the same relationship like the city council does to the city's staff that this board has to the sewage and water board staff? Is that kind of an equivalency there? Or?
Can you say that one more time?
So if you think about city council member, they have their elected role to oversee the city's operations. Does the sewage and water board of directors kind of have that similar relationship with the sewage and water board staff?
I mean, there are decisions that come before the board, yes, like
Okay.
financial, approving of resolutions, policy decisions. There's a number of different committees, including finance and administration, operations, governance, strategic planning, audit.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
next.
Anything else on Christian? Thomas Scalfa? Scalfa, yeah. I had him as just very technically qualified.
Yeah,
but
right.
did not really see the consumer advocacy background.
Very technically qualified.
He was in my no pile, but I did just want to comment that he has a lot of international experience in Rwanda, Ghana, Ivory Coast, things like that. I thought that was interesting. Wanted to make sure that considered that. But
We were talking about perspective.
Yeah, just to give it, you know, in an international perspective, I think there's a lot of diversity of thought that could be brought to bear. But he was
I
still
just
my
wish that
no-brainer.
international perspective that with water and water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fair
for
enough,
whether
but
it's-
still.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in my no pile too.
I knew how.
She's in mine.
Crystal Sims Cameron.
So I did have her with a check. She has a lot of foundation type experience and consumer insights, and I like the marketing side. There were some things that I liked about just her differentiating resume from the rest of the technical pile, and so she was a maybe for me, but
I'm the same. My perspective was knowing that this person, they don't have any staff, they work on their own, and they're getting out there. She has like a variety of like activities that help her touch many different people, and so that's why I liked her. Well,
Seems like that background in marketing and like kind of social science research, if the role requires board members to go out and actively solicit opinions and perspective, like,
Yes.
she'd be well suited to do that.
yeah.
Okay. And then our final candidate is Lawrence Williams.
He's, for me, they were more consumer advocacy, or not consumer, advocacy people enough to send forward. And he didn't really make that cut for me.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of advocacy work in his background, mostly business.
Yeah, I kind of agreed. I had him in a maybe pile.
Business.
Yeah.
Had him in a maybe pile, very well qualified person, but just not necessarily with the
For this
skills.
piece.
And I think it's another example of we're circling and indicating that we have experience in consumer advocacy, but we're not seeing it demonstrated in the supporting documents.
I have 4 or 5 people in front of me. I think that's kind of what we broke it down to. I wasn't keeping track.
I think I've got 5 too.
Yeah.
So-
Okay, I have 5.
So I've got, just for the record, I've got Crystal Sims, Christian Ryan, Matthew Frazier, Jasmine Fournier, and Alexandra Derensborg. Is there,
But that's,
Do,
so she was in,
I liked her.
I was gonna say, is there any others that need to be in that pile before?
so I had Danielle, but I did not have Matthew.
All right, I have 4.
I didn't have.
yeah,
Matthew either.
I had the same.
Matthew might have slipped in on accident.
I didn't have Matthew either.
Okay, that's why I wanted to go for the record, so, let me see here.
So we can, yeah, I think I only have 4.
Matthew Hill was the one that didn't have the pieces of the packet.
Yeah, I didn't put
Right,
it,
he
I
didn't,
didn't,
he
I
didn't
didn't
have-
put it there.
Although he said consumer advocate at the top here, he was missing some
Yeah,
pieces.
Matthew Frazier was the gentleman who worked for the
Yeah.
Council
Matthew
District A,
Fraser.
as
Oh,
the
Matthew
legislative
Fraser.
director, City of New Orleans Attorney's Office. Yeah, so just making sure if he's out, then I'll go ahead and pull him. And that would get 4, unless there's another one that I didn't have included that I think should be in there.
I think Elizabeth and I have 5, and let me just go down my list here,
Okay.
see if it matches. So I have Danielle Duo, I have Jasmine Fournier,
Yes.
I had Kudes Sia, sorry, Christian Ryan, and then Crystal Sims.
So how we would do this, I have 4, do we keep like a little sheet, you know, so we can know exactly who everyone have on there? You just named several of them that I have on mine.
Yeah, I've got 4.
Yeah. I have Jasmine, Danielle, Matthew Frazier, and Crystal, what's Crystal's last name?
Sims.
Sims.
Okay.
And did you say Ryan? Did you say Chris?
No,
Christian Ryan?
I have Jasmine Foreigner, okay, Danielle, Matthew Frazier, and Crystal Sims.
So let me ask y'all this. Who's your number one? Why don't we do that? Because we have to put up three.
Three, exactly.
Okay,
Because we could go around the table with the
Yeah.
4 or 5 forever.
Right.
Okay.
So everybody kind of pick their number one and let's,
I have nice, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
I'm with it, but because,
You start up?
Go ahead.
yeah,
Number 1 is Danielle Dube.
okay.
I think it's sometimes on accent aigu somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah, keep going. What's your
Oh,
number
okay.
two?
Number 2 is Crystal Sims. Number 3 is Jasmine.
Nicole, Christian Ryan. Christian Ryan. Oh, no, you did say that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
did you? The last time, he didn't say Christian Ryan, but I thought that was one we really liked.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with resubmitting Danielle, right? We submitted her last time.
That was my number 1 also.
Yeah. So let's just say that that's, Danielle's is Danielle a yes for everyone or?
She was my number 4, but.
Number
I'm
4?
I'm okay with her being in there. Absolutely.
And we're saying number 1, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 3 names, right? Yeah. I have no issues with putting her forward.
My issue, I'd love to know why they don't, like, is there some political background there we don't know as to why they don't choose one or the other? But, so
Don't get
Danielle,
feedback as to when
No.
we submit the, okay.
So I think that's just solely the mayor's office's discretion and who they decide out of the 3. to put
Exactly.
forward.
exactly.
Okay.
So Danielle, and then I liked Jasmine.
Yeah,
Jasmine's
is
my number 2.
That was my, I have.
I'm supporting
Your
Jasmine.
number one?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm fine with Jasmine.
I really like Christian Ryan.
That was my number 3, so,
My number 2. So,
Number 1. Christian Ryan was not in your list. Your list.
No.
Is there anything that, any particular reason that we should consider as to why we should not put our name forward?
Christian Ryan.
she has the sustainability, she had, I see a lot of communication, she does have some, the education side,
yeah.
or he, I don't, if he,
And she had the wildlife conservation management background.
Yeah, you can add her, I just had it in a different pile. There's so many.
There was a lot of good candidates in this one.
yeah, so,
Yes.
I would be happy to have her in the top 3.
Yeah, I haven't, so I'm good.
Okay. So we have a slate of 3.
so
That
we
would
have
be-
Danielle, we have Christian Ryan, I keep wanting to say Ryan Christian.
Yeah.
And Jasmine Fournier.
Okay.
We want to make a motion?
And then the other, I think another name that was brought up is, and that may be where we're getting confused
Crystal?
too. There's Christian Ryan, but Crystal Sims, and I think,
Yeah, so she was one,
Yeah, I have
I
Crystal.
think we liked her too.
I have Crystal.
she's the one with the consumer insights
Yes,
and the marketing.
yes.
So do we feel like marketing beats out any of the other candidates?
You know, marketing is always important because,
Absolutely. when you're
yeah,
soliciting.
that's a voice.
And we don't have anybody with a marketing background.
No, no, but for the Danielle Dewey, I know that she has a lot of landscaping and things like that. She has that, and the Dana Brown experience.
But that's not really what that position is
It's not.
geared towards.
And so I would almost look to Crystal,
Yeah, if I was gonna,
as a better candidate for this type of position than Danielle.
yeah, I would second that.
Yeah,
So are we looking at
yeah.
Christian Ryan, Jasmine Fournier, and Crystal Sims? Is that what we're
That's who I would prefer.
saying?
Yeah, same.
Okay, I mean,
Okay,
okay, so that's.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
So that's Crystal, Jasmine, and Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan.
3, okay, good.
And I can't, I'm having dyslexia over that.
Okay,
I think we have to present a motion there.
Make a motion.
Yeah, I'll present a motion for those three,
Yeah.
Crystal Sims, Jasmine Fournier, and Kristen Ryan.
yeah, yeah.
And let's take a vote on, well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We have our 3 recommendations to the mayor and the board for this position.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
And you did an excellent job.
I had a lot of great help.
This was fun.
It was lovely to meet you all.
I don't think we've ever had that many resumes to go through.
So we did last time.
Last time it was huge.
It was huge, but that one was a little bit easier